No, Farmer John, I need one of those top hats. If you are selling products to men, mainly insurance, because that's what I talk about on this specific channel. If you want to learn mathematics and general sales, marketing, neurological principles that aren't stolen from church pews, whoever's name sounds closest to that, and I don't have to jump. Why is a moth in the house? I'm sorry, my dear friend. You cannot be in here. What a catastrophic loss of life. That's probably how a lot of insurance agents feel when they go into someone's house. They just get kind of swatted at. They're like a little pest. Well, I'm going to show you how to go from unwanted pest to welcome guest, to steal a phrase from Dan Kennedy. He really is one of my heroes in the marketing world. I do quite like some of his stuff. And what's so funny is when people rip off his principles and claim them as their own. I think you should be picked up by the neck and have your throat crushed for being a despicable fucking human. Anyways, if you want to sell larger policies to men, you're gonna have to learn that what's the science principle say? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only change forms, okay? It can only change forms, which means you cannot create desire, you cannot destroy desire, you can only channel the direction in which it is aimed. And when you know how to channel that, you can just lean into what already works. You see, men, we are territorial creatures, okay? When we say, hey, you know what, babe, those clothes are rather provocative and promiscuous. And what most people really want to tell their girl is this: when you dress like this, I lose a lot of respect for you, you know? Because if you really respected me, you probably wouldn't dress in a way that's conducive to opening the door for other men to approach you, because you're dressing like an object. And we will only treat people how they treat themselves. How do I know that? Because you will only let people treat you how you treat you. Because I treat myself with respect, I demand respect from other people, and I tolerate nothing less than it. Okay, that is the type of person you are dealing with when it comes to selling to men. Okay, what's another urge that men have? We want to protect and provide. You see, I care very little about what happens to me when I die. I've lived the life that I want to. I finally got to see the Northern Lights, and man, that was a dream come true. And what was so scary about that for me, yes, scary, metaphorically, was that was the last thing on my bucket list, and I crossed it off, and I said, well, what's next? What happens for old Mace Man next? Old three-plate Mace. That's my gym name. They call me Trace Platos in the gym because I'm now benching 315, which is quite phenomenal. I'm a very strong young man, so you can listen to me. And if you don't bench 315, shut the fuck up. But anyways, you have to understand a man's tendencies. We want to protect and provide. We don't care what happens to us. We care about what happens to the people we love around us, our tribe, our clan, our wolf pack, our family, our chosen group, okay? Our chosen group. We don't care what happens to us. We care about what happens to them. And so if you're selling to a man, that's what you have to do. They're not buying the policy for them. They're buying what happens to their family. And more specifically, they're investing, they're securing an action plan to prevent what they don't want to happen to the people they love. Okay? Because what does that mean? What kind of man are they if they do not buy that? And that's how you frame it. You get them to think about it from that lens. Hey, well, why are you suggesting I buy this $500,000 policy when we'd only have $100,000 of debt? By all means, if you only want to sell what's necessary, if that's your philosophy, get them as little insurance as they need, that's okay. But I factor in inflation and a whole bunch of stuff. And it's, you know, John, why you need this $500,000 policy is because your family is simply too valuable for anything less. And when they hear that, things just resonate different with them. Things just resonate different with him. You can position this in a million different ways. You know, you're just too important of a person to deserve anything less than $500,000 for your family. It doesn't matter how you frame it, but like that protecting and providing lens in which we are instinctually primed to do as a man, when you urge them in the direction of their natural inclinations, their natural proclivities as a man to protect and provide. That is, if they are a good man, of course. Unless there's some beta cuck soy boy who likes raising other men's kids and never say anything about it and deal with recreational women. You know the women I'm talking about. They're recreational use only. They're damaged goods. You know the ones, those cougars at the bar that they're disgusting, okay? They have wine nights, and when you go over to their house, they got cats and shit. They got fucking litter boxes stinking the place up. They've smelt it for so long to hide the stench of loneliness. So I know that personal opinion, disregard that piece, but it's absolutely disgusting. When you deal with a man who is a quality man, just position your policy in the way of his natural instincts to protect and to provide. Okay? It's so simple, because now you're confirming his identity with your purchase, because what he thinks unconsciously is, who am I if I don't do this? Who am I if I don't buy this policy now that I know it's going to protect the people I love from a God-forsaken, like a catastrophic failure, a catastrophic loss of life? You know, after I'm dead, who's going to go to work for them? And you'll hear some dumbasses say, oh, well, I'm not going to give my wife any money, you know, because she's just going to go spend it on the next guy. No, dumb fuck. Now she has to go sleep with another man. She has to go suck someone else's pee-pee because you didn't leave her any fucking resources, because you're shit at being a man, and God hates you. God fucking hates you. God hates despicable men who cannot protect and provide. You see, it's not that these women are gold diggers. They need a man who can provide resources. And here's the thing. I was broke, and I still had more luck with women than any of you fucks. Okay? Why? Because I was resourceful. And it's that potential future that a woman is interested in. Okay? Is this man resourceful? Can he protect during tough times? Can he provide when resources are scarce? And that's evolution ingrained into us, okay? It's ingrained into our psyche. And the more you just lean toward these rather harsh realities of human nature, the better off you will be. Get rid of this notion of good or bad, right or wrong, hero or villain. Do you know the difference between hero and villain, right or wrong, good and evil? Who is telling the fucking story? Who's telling the story? You see, when I went and watched the new Lion King, we all thought Simba and his daddy were the good guys. But here's the thing, I said, well, if everyone's telling me Simba's the good guy, that Mufasa was the good guy, Simba, that's a different story. When it comes down to Mufasa and Scar or Taka, whatever his fucking name was, it's actually modeled after a story of two brothers. But here's the thing, let's say your name is Taka and you're walking down your pride one day, your future land, your future kingdom, and you say, oh, you know, there's another lion cub. It's not mine, not from our tribe, not from our clan, not from our pack, and he's drowning. So you know what? Because I'm such a cool lion, I'm gonna save him. I'm gonna save his life because that's the brother I've always wanted but never had. And you're Taka, and your mom helps you drag this lion cub out before he gets eaten by the fucking alligators and the crocodiles, because you're in fucking Africa. And you become best buds over the years, right? You're walking down, you're singing songs that, woohoo, we're gonna go eat some Giselles today, right, Mufasa, woohoo! And what happens is, years down the road, Mufasa kills someone from a different tribe, and guess what? That tribe comes back for revenge, except they don't take it out on Mufasa, they take it out on your family. They take it out on your family, and they strip you of your inheritance, your throne, your future kingdom, all of your land that was promised to you. And now somehow you're the bad guy when you go after the person responsible for all this fucking mess? Interesting. Interesting, right? And when you look at it from Scar's perspective, Taka's perspective, it makes what he did, I don't know, justified? You see, we're not rational creatures at all. We're self-rationalizing creatures. We are rationalizing creatures. We will do something and then make up a story about why we did what we did. And it's usually to make ourselves feel good. It's to console us. It's to anesthetize ourselves for our actions, especially when you're pathological lie or anything like that. You'll make up the craziest shit. Here's how you know someone's fucked at being a human is when they believe the lies they tell. Because, man, they are damn good. They are damn good at convincing people. But the problem with convincing is it feels like being convinced, and no one wants to be convinced of anything.
My head looks really shrunk on this recording, but just to interrupt the video, we'll be right back with here in a second. The biggest problem that salespeople face today is that they sound just like everyone else. And what happens is you deliver a watered down message of what your product does, and it doesn't sound like the hero of your customer's story. It really honestly sounds like the villain of the story. And so the problem is they start looking at your product as a threat rather than an ally, a foe rather than a friend. And this is known as habituation. It's the biggest problem that salespeople, coaches, and consultants face today is that customers, the moment they detect the sales process, they reject the sales process. It's known as habituation. It's where the brain tunes out predictable processes that no longer release the neurochemicals in the brain, oxytocin, adrenaline, norepinephrine, that type of stuff, dopamine. And so the only way around that is through mathematics, the world's first decision engineering system that not only bypasses sales resistance, it creates psychological contrast through the gap. We sell in a perceptive gap, okay? We open loops because the human brain is designed to complete loops, to complete stories, to close open loops. And so we just keep opening loops that the customer then is forced to close. And so if you want to know how to engineer automatic decisions, because change happens in an instant. When you stick your hand on a hot stove, you learn in an instant to never do that again. And so we can get them to apply that same decision psychology to our products. You make 10 times the amount of money, 10 times the amount of sales that you're currently making. It's a no-brainer. If you want to install mathematics into your business today, click the link. In less than an hour, you will have exactly what you need to engineer an automatic purchasing decision in your customers. So click the link down below in the description. Go check that out, and I will see you over there. Let's get back to the video.
You can't create this stuff. You can't manufacture it. I don't care what anyone fucking says. You're not going to outsmart Bill Nye the Science Guy and disprove that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It only changes forms, okay? Like when you're making a baby, do you know what happens? You take sperm and eggs, two different energies, and you mix them and combine, and they change forms. They make a fetus, a baby, an embryo, and it pops out, and now you have to pay child support because you slept with the wrong hoe. You get what I'm going after, okay? And so when you start learning to just tap into internal desires, instinctual things, I highly recommend that you pick up some work of Carl Jung, okay? Learn about his archetypes because you'll see these throughout all of humanity. And what's really good is when you can create environments that reverberate and multiply, meaning they showcase, they portray multiple archetypes, multiple character journeys, multiple different storylines that your customers can see themselves in. Everyone's had their heart broken. Everyone knows an alcoholic family member that makes them uncomfortable. Everyone remembers seeing something else get what they wanted. Like when I would write the same letter as this kid from school, but he always got what he asked from Santa, and I never did. I never did. And I blame my mom. I blame my mom for that. You know, I blamed her for so long until I was older and realized she was doing the best with what she had. But you see, when I went to school, when they would say, all right, we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance today, I'd get in line. I don't know why we had to put our right hand over our chest, but I would say, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't. And all the kids and the teacher would just look at me. You know, I'd heard that so many times growing up. I thought that was the Pledge of Allegiance, you know? I pledge allegiance to the fucking flag of poverty. Tapping into these desires is the most natural, most artistic, most helpful thing you can do. You don't sell insurance for you, motherfucker. You were irrelevant in the sale. You have to be a chameleon. You have to adopt their perspectives, their perception of the world. You have to confirm everything they believe. Now, don't get me wrong. If they have a negative belief you know is going to harm them, challenge it, but in a fun way, in a caring manner. This is about connecting. Why do I use the language that I do? Because it pierces the fucking mind. It pierces it. Because everyone else is running about being all flamboyant and people-pleasing and let me accept things and No. You know what? Someone's got to tell the fucking truth sometimes. Someone's got to tell the truth regardless of how it sounds. And I'm not going to sugarcoat shit because half the world's fucking obese and the fat fuckers would eat that too. Okay? So let's just be real here. This is insurance. This is insurance. This is sales. The goal of the game, get their money, put it in your pocket. If we're being real. If we're being real. Okay? And if you don't move the money from their pocket, then guess what? Your family doesn't eat. And you get to go back to the life that you hated that made you want to get into sales in the fucking first place. And so you're not going to create desire nor destroy it. It will only change forms. And the sooner you get that through your thick-ass skulls, you'll be able to sell a lot more policies and a lot more expensive ones at that. So you're welcome. Leave a like, a comment, and go watch the video I have up here for you. It's going to help you sell even more policies. So click on it now, and I'll see you over there.